Hello, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk about something that I've been thinking a lot about today, which is fear of nature. And why is it so widespread? Well, there are a few reasons I think for this. The first is that we learn it from parents or other adults when we're children. We learn it by the way we see people react to bugs or spiders, and we pick up on that and start to replicate that behavior as we grow up. But that's just a really basic, I guess, shallow understanding. Where does this fear come from, right? Well, fear of a lot of things comes from the unknown, right? We fear things that we don't understand. So, just like any fear, you can help it not be so strong by learning about it, educating yourself, exposing yourself to it. Knowledge is power, and then you are less afraid because you understand more what to expect. You understand more how to interact with things that you encounter. For example, I used to actually be very scared of spiders. I had like an involuntary reaction where I would like jump out of my seat and my heart would pound and I would like be kind of shaking, like completely involuntary. But now I like spiders, and I think they're just the most fascinating animals, and I love to hold them in my hand, except maybe the really big ones in Australia. Those ones are very fast and they make me a little more nervous. But otherwise, like, spiders and I are chill. And I got that way because I educated myself on them and I observed them and I learned about their behaviors. But that still is a little shallow of an explanation. I want to go a little deeper into where this fear may originate sometimes for many of us. We have been raised, at least in our culture, in a lot of Western societies, and also even outside of the West. There are a lot of cultures where people grow up believing that nature is like this thing over there that's outside of us, and then there's us, right? Like we are separate. It's like us, and then there's that thing over there that's wild and scary and we can't control, and we try to control it. I think partially that's why people freak out when they see a bug, because they're like, oh, it's like moving and it like has a will of its own and like it's in my house, and like that makes me uncomfortable, you know? It's this encounter with this other and this awareness that it could maybe harm us, it could bite us, it could fly in our face and startle us, I don't know, it could, it depends on what you're talking about, but it could potentially do something that you don't want, and you can't control it. But we kind of create this illusion for ourselves that we can control things, right? Because we have like land that we divided up in certain ways and we've cultivated it in certain ways, and we like put weed killers down to kill the plants that we don't want there, and then we put pesticides down to kill the bugs that we don't want there, and we've created this illusion that we can control things. We have a civilization that runs smoothly, at least usually, depending on where you live. And it follows these rules, and these things are predictable, and they happen. And then something like COVID happens, and we realize that we can't control things. Or something like a natural disaster happens. Something happens, or even something less serious, like a storm is coming in, and we're feeling kind of nervous, or our kids or our pet dog or whoever's with us is like scared, you know, and these big clouds are coming in, and we can't control it. Like it's just there. We can't. we have zero control. And this desire to control, I think, stems from this idea that we're separate again, and that it's something that we are not a part of. And I think we really need to question that, because I think we all know, logically, that we come from nature. We are nature. We have been taught maybe to fear that part of ourselves because we think that it means we are violent and we do terrible things, and we, apologies for the car sounds driving by the way, that's part of the challenge of rewilding in an urban or suburban environment. But yeah, what was I saying? So, as I was saying, we have this idea about our natural wild selves, that they are bad, they are dangerous, they are violent, they want to just take everything and kill and take resources from everyone and take everything for ourselves. You know, these kind of ideas. And I think that's kind of the mythos that we are living in, where it's like, oh, we used to be like these uncontrollable animals, and then civilization made things better. And I would like to question that, because it is well documented that it is very common for people to, step up and help others when they see someone in need, even someone they don't know, someone not part of their group or whatever. Like, you're in public, you see someone on the side of the road and they're stranded because their tire went flat, and like, people will pull over to help them. I mean, it depends on where you are, but generally that happens. Or we've seen, it's well documented, when there are natural disasters, people rise to the challenge and they risk their lives to help others, and they step up. And that is when the rules of civilization have, like, things are unusual at that moment because there's a natural disaster. So the normal scripts and rules that people follow are not really relevant at that moment. But in that moment, you see the best of humanity. You see people stepping up and just doing amazing things. So I really want to question this notion that a natural human is a bad thing. Now, there are, of course, things that we don't like, that we want less of, like violence and stealing and, all kinds of things. And that's like a topic for another video. But my point is, this all goes back to this mythos that we are separate, we have somehow transcended being from nature, and now nature is a separate thing that we need to tame and control. And when it doesn't do what we want, we have the right to do whatever we want with it to make it convenient for us. What does this have to do with fear? Well, I think a deeper way to confront fear, and I think you should try other methods if you want to confront your fears. I mean, exposure, education, things like that. But I think a really deep way to confront fear is to form a relationship that maybe has been cut off. Nature is not this outside thing. It's a thing that we are in, we are a part of. And no matter what happens, that will always be true. And once we form a relationship where we see other beings and can understand that they have their own needs and their own intentions, and that it's really not in their interest to harm us, but they're just trying to do what they can to protect themselves or run away, then we might see the erratic looking movements of a spider and understand what's happening. Maybe we realize, oh, this spider is actually confused, doesn't know where they are, and is scared because I'm this giant creature, and this spider's really vulnerable. So this spider is going to try to run away and maybe make fast movements, and it might make me scared if I don't understand that. But if I understand that, then I can see, oh, okay, I understand what's happening here, and I have less fear of it. And when we start to open up to nature in this way, where we see it as something to relate to, something to have exchange with, something to be a part of deeply, then this sounds kind of like woo-woo or magical, but like magical things start to happen. We start to have closer encounters with wild animals. We start to see things that we didn't notice before. We start to see how birds are behaving and learn from it, or maybe realize they're telling us something in some way, whatever that means to you. So I would just invite you to look deeper and see where this fear really comes from, and look at the unknown and try to form a friendship or relationship with it. Now, it doesn't mean don't take any caution. It doesn't mean if there are crocodiles in the area that you should just hang out near the water. It doesn't mean, I mean right now I'm in southeastern Canada and I'm very aware this is like tick territory. Ticks with Lyme disease live here. Like this is like probably the top Lyme disease area in North America, one of them. And so I'm just, checking my legs and making sure that I don't have ticks on me, but I don't have to let it stop me from wandering into areas with trees and leaves and plants, Like, I'm not gonna let the fear stop me from confronting nature in a way where I can connect with it deeply. And once you connect with nature in this way, you feel more alive, more connected to the world, not alone. So yes, this video was about fear, but it's about more than that, and I invite you to step into that and see where it leads you. Thanks for watching.